Erev Tov, good evening, everyone. To Chag Sameach to everyone. We're going to continue with Gemara Masechet Berachot. Tonight's Gemarot are somewhat unrelated to the previous ones. It's back to Shema Yisrael, but we have a bunch of tangential ones. So you have a lot of these one-liner Gemarot tonight. It's very exciting. We're going to learn about the Berachot we say after Shema of Emet Veyatziv, Emet Emunah. We'll say that. We'll speak about how to bow during the Amidah, when to bow, how to bow. There's a small Gemara over there. We'll speak a little bit about the 10 days, Aseret Yemei Teshuva, how we have to switch out the blessing of HaEl HaKadosh. We switch it to HaMelech HaKadosh, or HaMelech HaMishpat. We make HaMelech HaMishpat. We're going to speak about those topics. We're going to speak a little bit about the structure of Shema Yisrael. There's a lot of, again, unrelated tangential ideas, but it's all famous concepts that we should all be familiar with. Daily lives, part of the tefilot, part of things that we know. So we're going to get started. Let's go. Shalom to everyone that I didn't say hello to. Let's get started. Let's go. Share screen. Share. As always. Okay. Here we are. We are picking up from the Gemara Masechet Berachot that you bet Amud Aleph 12a. If you're looking in the art scroll, it is 12a 3, the last line. Okay, 12a 3, the last line. All right, let me move this out of the way. Here we go. Amar Rabba Bar Chinena Saba Mishmei Derav. This is back to last time we spoke about the brachot that we say on wine and beer, and if you mix them. Now we're going back to the idea of Shema Yisrael, the Berachot Kriyat Shema. And it's important to know who the name of this statement is, because we're going to say a few statements by this rabbi, or this rabbi quoting the other rabbi. So Amar Rabba Bar Chinena Saba, Rabba, the son of Chinena Saba, Chinena the elder, Mishmei the Rav. He said it in the name of Rav. He said the following: Kol shelo amar Emet Veyatziv shacharit. Whoever does not say, and if you're in the art school now, it turns to 12a4. Whoever doesn't say the bracha of Emet Veyatziv after the Shema Yisrael in the morning, ve'emet ve'emunah arvit, and doesn't say ve'emet ve'emunah arvit, meaning after Shema in the evening, lo yatzeh yedei chovato, he did not fulfill his obligation of the Berachot Kriyat Shema, which means you might think you have to say a bracha before Kriyat Shema, right? You say the one before, and then maybe after Shema you stop. No, there's more. You have to continue, and that's why we have after the Shacharit, you say HaShem Elohechem Emet Veyatziv Nachon Mekayam. The truth is that word Emet is not part of the pasuk, right? You know what I'm talking about. In the Shema Yisrael, let me just go to the Sidur for a second. You look at the Shema Yisrael, this paragraph of this third paragraph of Tzitzit, it actually in the Torah, it's the end of Parashat Shalach, it ends. That's where it ends. The word Emet belongs to the next bracha. We connect it, and there's a reason why, and we'll get to it in the next parak. We're going to come up to it in another page or two. But this word Emet is actually part of the next bracha of Emet Veyatziv. You see, HaShem Elohechem belongs to the Shema Yisrael. Emet Veyatziv. Emet is part of the next bracha. So that's why it's saying, whoever doesn't say the after blessing of Shema Yisrael in the morning, or the after, which is Emet Veyatziv, and the after blessing of Shema in the evening, which is Emet Ve'emunah, again, this word Emet belongs to the blessing of Emet Ve'emunah. If you don't say these in the evening, you don't fulfill your obligation of doing it correctly. Why? Shneimar, as the pasuk says, Lahagid ba'boker hastecha ve'emunatecha ba'leilot. It's a pasuk from Tehillim. A lot of songs. Anyone who knows the end. Louder. The recording doesn't hear you. Okay, there you go. Maybe afterwards we'll have a kumzitz. You jumped right into that, Cody. Very good. I love it. So we have this. It's like a famous song, like what you said. It's a pasuk from Tehillim, and it says that David HaMelech in the mornings I want to speak about your kindnesses, your acts of kindness. And in the evening I should speak about the trust that I place in you. The idea behind this is that during the daytime is in times of clarity where you see Hashem, that's his kindness. During the nighttime, you don't necessarily see his, it's times of darkness, times of challenge, where you don't see Hashem openly, you don't see his acts of kindness. So what do you have? You have your emunah, your trust in Hashem. So that's like one idea behind this. Another thing that Rashi says is that the bracha of V'yatziv Nachon in the morning speaks about all of the things that when we left Egypt, how HaShem did all of these miracles. He brought us out of Egypt, crossed the Yam Suf, killed all of the Bechors of the Egyptians. Speaks about all of the kindness, acts of kindness that he had done. Whereas in the Emet Emunah is not only does it speak about what had happened to Egypt, but it also speaks about what Hashem will do in the future to our enemies, which is a trust that we place in Him for what He'll do in the future. So here we have it. You have two Berachot, the post Berachot of Shema Yisrael. I don't know about, does anyone know? Or, I don't know, we didn't have to go into details, but I know some people that what they'll do is when they're praying in the Siddur, especially if they're praying on themselves, they say Baruch Shamar, maybe they say Ashrei, then they go to Shema Yisrael and they go straight to the Amidah and they skip. And here what we're saying in the Gemara is that no, there's a bracha after the Shema Yisrael that you have to say before the Amidah. That is the bracha in the morning of Emet Veyatziv and in the evening Emet Veyatziv. Okay, so that's really this. It's connected to our Mishnah because our Mishnah talks about how you have to say brachot before and after. Now, what's interesting about this, before we move on, is that it was said by the statement that Rama Rabbi, what was the name of the rabbi? Amar Rabba bar Chinena Saba, Amar Rabba bar Chinena Saba, Mished Rav. It was Rabba, the son of Chinena Saba, Chinena the elder, in the name of Rav. Why that's important is because now we're going to see another statement by the same person. Okay, good. This was a statement that is connected to our Mishnah because our Mishnah says there's brachot before Shema and after Shema. Okay,
Rabbi, he doesn't talk about the bracha before Shema. He only says the one after.
Correct.
So you are Yotzeh if you don't say the first one?
No, you're not. But it's a good question. But it seems like there was some opinion or there was some view that if you only said the brachot before, it's enough. It seems like that way. You're right. This is not to imply that the brachot before are not what did you call it? Like where you optional, right? It's not to imply that. It must be, to your point, Ilan, that there was a view that the post brachot were optional, and he's coming and saying, no, you have to say these. But it's an excellent question, and it's the proper. You're making the right deduction. Very good. Yes.
You said I read early, and you're repeating Shema at night at Shema at night. You have to also say that.
Okay, excellent. So this is where the commentators ask. It says if someone didn't say Emet V'Emunah in the night, he doesn't fulfill his obligation. Which obligation does he not fulfill? Does he not fulfill his obligation of saying Shema, which is what your question is? Like, let's say I said it Shema with Arvit early, and it wasn't the time of saying Shema. Just a quick reminder: what is the earliest time to say Shema in the evening? In the Lashon of the Mishnah, what is it? Yeah, very good. The time the Kohanim enter to eat their teruma. Very good. Okay, so we did a quick review. So let's say I said Shema at sunset time, which is earlier than that, and then afterwards I want to say it. Do I have to say it with Emet V'Emunah? No. When it says you don't fulfill your obligation, it means you don't fulfill your obligation of the Berachot Kriyat Shema because you didn't say complete, which then goes to Ilan's question of, so why do you only talk about the post Berachot? And it seems like there was some view that the Berachot before are what matter more than the others. The others are optional, and that's not the case. Okay? Very good. Very excellent question. So, we have the same opinion, which that's the only connection with the next Gemara, but it's something that it's extremely common. When someone is praying in the Amidah, Kishu Korea, when you are bowing in the Amidah, meaning there are certain brachot we'll speak about. There are certain brachot that you have to bow in. When you bow, Korea Baruch, you begin bowing when you start by saying Baruch, Ushud Zokef, and when you're supposed to rise, Zokef Bashem. You should stand up, you should become straight in the name of Hashem, or really right before you say the name of Hashem. Okay? So we're going to talk about it right now, when you're supposed to bow in the Amidah, when you're supposed to become erect again. But what he's saying is that his point is you bow at the word Baruch, and you rise on Hashem. What's his source? Amar Shmuel, Mai Tamad Rav. What's the source of Rav? Dichtiv, because it's a pasuk in Tehillim. Adonai Zokef Kifufim. Hashem erects or raises those that are bowed. So when you are bowed in the Amidah, you're about to say the name of Hashem. Hashem is Zokef Kifufim. Hashem, when you're saying the name of Hashem, you should already be risen. What's the word? You should already be straight. Okay, I like that word. You should already be straight. Okay, that's his pasuk. But the Gemara says before we go into this mitveh, but I have a contradiction because there's a pasuk in Malachi that says mipnei shemi nichathu. People are because of my name, my Shem nichatu. People are afraid. So the question is, one pasuk in Tehillim says Adonai zokef kifufim. Hashem makes those that are bent, makes them straight. So when you say the name of Hashem, you should be straight. But another pasuk says that the name of Hashem makes people humble, which makes it seem that I should be bowed for that time. So which one is it? So the Gemara says, does the pasuk say mipnei? Does the mikativ bishmi? Does it say with my name? It doesn't say with my name. Mipnei shemikativ. It's before my name. It's not really before, but it means before my name is when the person is bowed. That's why you should bow before Hashem's name, and then when it comes to Hashem's name, you're zokef kifufim, you're standing straight. Okay? There are 3 times, or really 5 times in the Amidah that we should bow. There are 5 times prescribed by Chachamim to bow during the Amidah for the Berachot, the beginning and the ends of the Berachot. Does anyone know what those 5 times are, or any of them?
First, Berachot, then neet, and the beginning of the last Berachot, and then Oseh Shalom.
Oseh Shalom. Very good. Okay, so very good. The first is the first bracha, beginning and end. So twice in the bracha of Magen Abraham. Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu melech Abraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov. The beginning of that and the end of it, which as you guys said, Baruch atah Hashem Magen Abraham. So the first blessing of the 19 brachot, the beginning and end, and then the blessing of Modim, beginning of Modim and the end of Modim. Baruch Hashem, Modim anachnu lach, and how does it end? Baruch atah Hashem. Right? So these are the beginning and end of the brachot. And then the 5th one is Oseh Shalom Miruma. Okay? Very good. So, how are we supposed to bow? So what we said here is that when you bow, you have to bow when you say Baruch, and you have to be straight when it comes time to sing the name of Hashem. So, when you say Baruch atah Hashem, okay? Now, I'm going to talk about the exact posture and structure of how you're supposed to bow in a moment. But so far, the rule that we have is there's 5 times that we're supposed to bow in the Amidah, and we bow with the word Baruch, and we're risen by the time we say Hashem. And what about in the Bracha Modim, where it doesn't start with Baruch? Same concept. Modim anachnu lach shatahu Hashem Elokeinu. So you say Modim, you bow with the word Modim, and you're standing up straight for the name of Hashem. Okay, and then at the end is Baruch atah Hashem, atov shemcha v'chanei le'odot. Again, you bow with Baruch, and you're straight by Hashem. And then Oseh Shalom, you don't actually say the name of Hashem. So that's a whole different thing. Now let's see what the Gemara says, and then we'll do a demonstration. Okay, here we go. Oh, before that, remember who said this statement? It was Chinena. Rabbah bar Chinena Sabah Mishmei de Rav, in the name of Rav, right? So now, Amalei Shmuel Achia bar Rav. Once Shmuel was talking to Rav's son. Imagine that. Imagine being a colleague and speaking to a rabbi, and then one day you see the rabbi's son. One day the rabbi's son comes to your home and he says to him, Bar Uryan, hey, Talmid Chacham. But he says it, the son of Torah, meaning a ben Talmid Chacham. You know, you're starting to learn Torah. Come. I want to tell you, I want to tell you something amazing that your father said. I want to teach you halacha that I heard from your father. Imagine the rabbi saying, you know, once I heard halacha from your father, now I have an opportunity to tell the son the great Torah that I heard from your father. This is what your father said. Kishu Korea, when it's time to bow during the Amidah, Korea Baruch, you bow when you say the bracha of Baruch, when you say the word Baruch, and when it's time to become straight, Zokef Bashem, you become straight by the name of Hashem, meaning before you say the name of Hashem. So he just quoted the statement to Rav's son. Okay, there isn't anything special here. It's just telling us that there is this story where it happened. Turning to 12b, Rav Sheshet, we have a very, very, very interesting halacha, and from this we're going to discuss. Rav Sheshet, when Rav Sheshet was praying, Kikara, when he would bow, Kara kechizera, he would bow like a stick, like a cane, like a staff. When it was time to bow, he would bow like a staff. Ukika zakif, when he would stand up straight, zakif kechivya, he would stand upright like a snake. Okay, so there's like a play of words here. Kara kechizra, zakif kechivya, chizra chivya. So no, this is what he would do, not the opposite. He would bow like a rod and rise like a snake. Now, what do you like a snake? What do you mean the opposite? Okay, very good. So we have to define what does it mean to bow like a rod, and what does it mean to rise like a snake? Okay, because you're saying if the snake's shape is what we're talking about, meaning that he's curved and the bowing should be like a snake, whereas the rod is straight, and that should be when you're standing, right? But it's not. We're not talking about the shape, not in this posture. We're talking about something else. What are we talking about? There's really two opinions. Anyone want to take a guess? Yeah. Very good. So what one understanding is, okay, let's stop the share for a second. When he would bow like a rod, which means he would go baruch, straight at the hips, go straight down at the hips, and then when he would come up, it would almost be like a two-step, like that. You got it? So you go down like this and then come up two-step. That could be one understanding. Another understanding?
Bending knees.
Knees. Okay, which one has a knee? A staff or a snake?
The staff would be straight knees. You're not really bending your knees.
So you're not bending your knees, and your snake, you are bending your knees. Okay, so you're talking about a similar idea, that it's talking about the position, that when you go down in one shot. Like imagine you're dropping a stick, whereas you come up in some sort of a motion, either your knees or two steps. Okay, that's one idea. Another idea? What? No, okay, that's not, but that's a good point about the position. Okay, so yeah. Okay, yeah. So again, that's like what he said, that it could be like he falls straight to the ground. That's not what HaChamim are going to say. He's going to say it's going to be by the hips. But what they say it could mean is the speed. When you go down really fast. But when you come up, almost like a charming snake that comes up slowly. And the idea behind that, so we're going to have to see exactly what the opinions are. But the idea behind that is like when you want to bow immediately. But when you want to come up slowly to show that you're coming away from the bow in a slow motion, right? So like a snake doesn't just shoot up where it slithers and comes up slowly. Okay, there's two understandings of what this are. One is whether you should just do it when you're going down in one shot and then come up in two shots, or whether you go down quickly and come down slow and come back up slowly. These are the two opinions. What I want to do is we can read Shulchan Aruch. Shulchan Aruch will give us one opinion. It happens to be the custom of most Faradim here is actually to follow the Ari. And many things of our Sidur, we follow the Arizal, not Shulchan Aruch. And the other thing is that Ilan mentioned the word knees. So there's two things I want to discuss here. We're going to do a little bit about Halacha. It's not really in the Gemara. You can learn this all out, but this is where it's discussed. The question is, do you bend your knees during the Amidah or not? What do you guys do? You bend your knees?
I do.
You do?
I do slightly.
You do slightly. So this way, for why?
I grew up with Ashkenazis.
You grew up Ashkenazi. So you're saying that Ashkenazis do and Sephardim don't is what you're saying implicitly. So because you're not sure what to do, or
I just got used to
you have a little bit of Ashkenazi blood in you, so you do a little bit. Yeah.
I always had a doubt of which one, so I bend my knees and I bend my back. So I do both.
You hear this? I always had a doubt, so I do this. How about this, Rama? Since you always had a doubt, we're going to learn the right thing tonight. Is that the right way? If you always had a doubt, we're going to learn it.
But if you do both, you're covering everything. You're bending your knees.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. You could do that. You could do everything.
You can't lose, can you?
Okay, so you know what? There's a lot of discussion about this. Again, like I said, normally times like this, I open up Shulchan Aruch, we learn Shulchan Aruch together. The problem is that many don't follow Shulchan Aruch on this. We follow the Arizal. So I'm going to show you a Halacha Yomit, which is in English, which is recapping Rav Ovadia Yosef the way he says it. This is how I personally practice. If you want to practice another way, by all means, he actually will talk about it. So I'm going to share screen. Is anyone else on the Zoom? Someone want to say something? If you do, now's your time. Okay, you lost your chance. Here we go. The laws of bowing. This is, by the way, this is a website called Halacha Yomit. It's basically in English. It's going for the most part the opinions of Rav Ovadia Yosef. So I'm going to go to the print view, not because I want to print, but because then we take away everything else. All right, here we go. Yeah. Halacha Yomit means every single day they send that halacha. Okay. Maran Shulchan Aruch in Siman 113 writes, when one bows, one should bow forward once quickly. So you see what he's saying? You should bow forward once quickly. It's a combination of the two answers that I told you. Bowing forward once means going like this, and quickly means going like the opinion that says going like a rod means down quickly. And one straightens up, one should do slowly by straightening one's head first and then one's body. He's combining both answers. Remember, I said when we say goes down like a rod, either it means, like you said, 90-degree angle, or it means go down fast. And when we say come up, it means you do 2 steps, and also means come up slow. So the Shulchan Aruch actually takes both of both. Meaning, you go down 1 step fast, you come up 2 steps slowly. Okay, that's what he says. It seems that according to this, that when one bows, one should bow one's body and head together in one shot. And when one's straightening up, one should straighten one's head first and then their body. So that means he's saying, based on this, you would go down like this, bring your head up, and then your body. 2 steps, like a snake, I guess. Nevertheless, according to many poskim, including the saintly Arizal, this is what everyone we hold like, one should not bow all at once. So when we go down, we do not go down in one shot. Rather, while reciting the word Baruch, one should bow one's body. So now watch. I don't know, in the Zoom, I'll do it without the screen share later. But you go with your body while your face is still looking straight. When you say Baruch, one should bow one's body. And when he says Atah, one should bow one's head like this. You get it? So you do Baruch, Atah. And then what about on the way up? When straightening one up, one should first straighten one's body and then one's head. So you go the same order. So it's body, head, body, head. This is the way Arizal says it. Baruch, Atah, HaShem. You got it? Body, head, okay? And then one's head. Some customarily behave in accordance with the ruling of Maran Shulchan Aruch, while others follow the opinion of the Arizal. The reasons behind this matter are lengthy, and we cannot elaborate them in the context of this halacha or in the context of this shiur. This is the opinion of the Arizal. According to all opinions, though, when reciting Hashem's name, one must be standing erect, as the pasuk says, Adonai Zokef Kifufim. This is the pasuk we just learned, that you have to be straightened for that. The Rishonim explain this to mean that before one recites the name of Hashem, one must already be standing erect, as opposed to straightening while reciting the names of Hashem. Okay? So here are the things that we learned. According to the Arizal, when you say Baruch, you go body. When you say Atah, you go head. And then body, head, before you say Hashem. Baruch, Atah, Hashem. This is the way that Arizal says it, and everyone agrees that when you say the name of Hashem, you have to be standing up straight. Okay, based on the above, here we go, for all of the ones that have some Ashkenazi blood, which honestly we all do. Baruch Hashem, thank God for our Ashkenazi neighbors, because, I'm a product of Ashkenazi school system also. Based on the above, it is clear that bending one's knees while bowing is indeed unnecessary. And bowing one's body and bending one's head are sufficient, according to the Arizal. So Rama, if you go up to Shamayim and they say, hey, well, maybe you should have been doing your bending your knees, or maybe you should have done it. You had a doubt. Why didn't you do it? You could say Arizal. Or they say, oh, VIP pass. You got an Arizal here. So okay, don't worry, go straight pass. Arizal says don't do it. That's why he's saying it's unnecessary. Also, Shulchan Aruch. Nevertheless, according to the Ashkenazi custom, while reciting the word Baruch, one should bend one's knees, and while reciting the word Atah, one should bow one's body until one's vertebrae protrude from their back. So now we're talking about how far, and this is Shulchan Aruch says the same. You should go until the end of your spine. So it's not just like sometimes like this. No, you want to bend the entire back. Okay? The custom of most Sephardic and Middle Eastern communities is not to bend one's knees at all. And one will bow his body until one's vertebrae protrude already while reciting the word Baruch. You see, the spine, because you're doing your back first, Baruch, you're already going the most of your spine from like your hips almost, and then you say Atah, and then you do back, this. No knees, and you already hit the bottom of your spine with the word Baruch. Whereas the Ashkenazi, with the word Baruch, they bend their knees, but they don't bend their spine. They just like, bending down, and then with Ata, they do the back. Their head and their body go together. You see the difference? Okay. Now, one more thing. Upon reaching the Modim blessing, one should bow one's body. So we're going to do the same exact motion, same exact order, just different words. They should bow one's body when they say Modim anachnu lach. Shatahu, he does his head. Bends one's head when he says Shatahu, and then straighten up before he says the word HaShem. How do you straighten up? Same way. So Modim anachnu lach, Shatahu, back, head. Okay? So this is what I wanted to share with you, because again, there's so many different opinions. There's the opinion of the Shulchan Aruch, there's the opinion of the Arizal, there's the opinion of the Ashkenazim, and there's two different ways of viewing what it means to drop like a rod and rise like a snake. I'm bringing you what the Arizal says. At the end, you go up to Shaman, you could say really, you see what the different opinions are. You have Shulchan Aruch, you have Arizal, and you have the Ashkenazim, they have their custom also. They're all good, but this is the practice, is what Rav Ovadia says. I'm going to do a demonstration in a moment, but let me answer your questions first. Go ahead. Go ahead, Joey.
Are these the same guidelines for bowing when it's not Amida?
No. That is for Amidah, like when? When do we bow? Okay. So
Baruch Hu is kind of like optional, no?
very good. So good question is for Baruch Hu, we don't need to bow. Yeah, it's true. People do bow, but we don't need to bow. People stand up. We don't need to stand up. And what do you know? You've seen Rav Ovadia Yosef? Have you ever prayed with Rav Ovadia Yosef?
Yosef passed away a long time ago.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
So okay, I'll tell you. I prayed in Rav Ovadia Yosef's Bet Knesset. He's facing this way while the whole crowd is facing that way, meaning the Heichal is behind him. And for Baruch Hu, he just sits there. He's just sitting.
I've never seen him bow for Baruch Hu. Right.
So some say you should do some motion, some say you should stand up and bow, but I'm telling you what I saw. I'm giving you my witness. I'm only one witness, so this doesn't get you. It's not two, but I've seen him. For Baruch Hu, he sat there.
What about this motion when they do this?
Okay, I don't know. Maybe he's got an itch.
What is that? People just do like they move out of their seat.
People. Okay, so now we're learning people do things. This is not really something that should make you doubt. People do a lot of things. Okay, yeah. This is what we're learning now. We're learning now that for Baruch Hu you don't need to bow. So for Aleinu L'Shabach, that's a good point. Aleinu L'Shabach, we are supposed to. There, I think we just go down. Also, another point where we're supposed to bow in the Vayvarach David. Well, you know when the people are giving tzedakah. What's the line there? Okay. Over there's a line where we're supposed to bow. Also, okay, that's another line where we're supposed to bow. But these are different. Hi. You could unmute yourself. Say hello. We're learning about how to bow during the Amidah. How do you bow during the Amidah? Do you say Shema Yisrael? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Good job. You're saying Shema Yisrael.
You can say
Yeah.
which parts of the Amidah, the bowing.
Yes. Okay. Very good. So now we're going to do a quick recap. In the Amidah, there are 5 times to bow. Well, you know what? Let's not talk about Oseh Shalom Bimrama because Oseh Shalom is going to be different. Oseh Shalom has a different order for another time. For now, we're going to talk about the first 4 times that we have to bow. You have to bow at the beginning of the Amidah, and then Beracha Magen Abraham, and then Modim, and the end of it. And I'm going to do a demonstration for you right now. Okay? Is this worth our time? You think? Okay, so let's do it. Yeah, everyone get up. Everyone get up. I don't have a siddur in front of me. I could check. There's a point in Vayvarach David that we have to bow.
What about 13 years?
Okay. There's too many things here. Hold on a second. Let's do Amidah. Yeah, everyone get up. Everyone get up. I'm gonna open the siddur. Siddur Yedut HaMizrach. Okay. You don't have to be. Okay. Let me do a screen share. I want to make sure. Hold on. Screen share. How do I not? And now I want to be there. Okay, share screen. Okay, so everyone, whoever's watching on the Zoom, please stand up. Whoever's watching on YouTube, stand up. With the real. There we go. Here's Amidah. Here we go. You're up to here. Maybe I should do it from the side even. Okay. We say Adonai Sifatai Tiftach Ufi Agi Teilatecha. Baruch. So you see, when I say Baruch, my head is still focused straight. I'm still looking straight. I'm going to the end of my back. Rama, slow down. We're not up to Ataya. Okay, you're getting tired. Now you see what the Kohanim are like. All day they're standing like this. Okay, so you say Baruch, Ata, the head. Now, back straight, head is still down, and then head is straight. Amonai. You say the name of Hashem. Okay, so we'll do it one more time, and then we'll do it faster. Okay, Hashem says, Baruch, Ata, Amonai. Okay, Baruch, Ata, Amonai. And like the way we go down is body first, then head. The way we come up is body first, then head. This is like what the Ben Ish Chai saw him say, Kasher Yachanu Ken Yisrael. The way you go down is the way you go up. You do body, head, body, head. So that's the beginning. We're not done. Hey, there's 1 to 4. There's still a couple more coming. Okay, now you start going like this, you start going like this, you do whatever you want, you start like looking around, check your phone in the middle, and then when you're done, it comes to the end of the bracha, Melech Ozer Umashiach Magen, Baruch Ata Amonai Magen Abraham. So far, so good? Okay, people on the Zoom, can you see my motion?
Yeah, we could see you.
Okay, very good. Then we do Ata Gibor, then you go do all of this. We go through all of this bracha. We're going to get to Modim. Modim, I just showed you, is a bit tricky in that you don't have the words Baruch Ata at the beginning, but it's the same motions. Imagine, Modim Anachnu Lach, this phrase right here is Baruch, and then She'atahu is the second, is the Ata. Okay? So this is how we do it. Ready? We say Modim Anachnu Lach. So now it's just back, head is straight. Then you say She'atahu, head goes down, and then body back, head up, Amonai. Say the name of Hashem. Right? Modim Anachnu Lach She'atahu, Amonai. Like this. And then at the end of the bracha is Yeshuatenu v'Yisrael Sela Atov, Baruch Ata Amonai. Okay, now this is the demonstration. I think we did it good. Okay, we did 4. We did the motions. First back all the way to the last bone, then head, then body, then head, and by the name of Hashem, you're always standing. Okay. Now, one other thing I want to mention here is don't go around. If you see someone not doing this, don't go around saying like, "Why are you doing something wrong?" Because I'm going to be honest. I don't see a lot of people doing all of these steps. It's okay, right? You have a lot of people who do the knees. A lot of people do the knees, and that's okay because you see the Ashkenazim do it. A lot of people do just one motion going down. But what I'm pointing out here is there's 2 things that you have to keep in mind. Number 1, there's this motions, and number 2, the other thing is you have to go down all the way. A lot of times you see someone saying like that. They just go down in one like this. Again, according to Shulchan Aruch, you don't need to do the 2 steps going down, so it's not such a big deal. But this is how we're learning it. Okay, everyone good? Any questions? Yeah.
So constantly are moving. Is that something you just
Shuckling.
What is that shuckling?
Shuckling, that's not bowing, that's just moving around. That's like it helps them to focus more. Some people it helps them to focus more. It's like pacing.
But it's a very Ashkenazim hug.
I don't know about that. I've seen Sfaradim do it. But yeah. The Rabbi Chaim always tells us when he would see Rav Ezra Atiyah, the Rosh Yeshiva Parad Yosef Yeshiva, and just the entire time straight. No movement at all. But I'm not gonna what do you call it, bag on this tradition, because sometimes it helps. It helps people with focusing. Like there are times where I need to study something and I pace around, or I take a phone call and I'm walking around. Whatever. As long as you're doing it because it's helping you focus, so that's fine. If you're doing it because it makes you look more religious and you want people to think you're religious, then it's a big problem, because what you're doing then is you're not serving Hashem, you're serving other people. Okay? I want to just answer, Kevin, your follow-up question of Vayivar David here. So this line of Modim Anachnu Lach, some bow during this.
Some bow, or we shouldn't bow? I looked at the.
What does he say? He doesn't say anything. Okay, so don't. I remember seeing that some do, but I actually can't remember. If it doesn't say it in the Mishari Sidur, then Kol Avatenu, then we don't do it. Then we don't do it. I saw that some do it, but we don't do it. But for sure during Aleinu we do, right? Aleinu for sure it says, so that for sure we do. The Vayavors are complicated. Because Vayavors, you're going to see different things also. And I'm not prepared to go through all the opinions. Because there, you'll specifically see some people say that when you say the name of Hashem, you should be bowed for the name of Hashem. Which goes against this. Because over here we're saying on the nights we have kivuvim. So that's a whole thing that you have to discuss in and of itself. Sorry, I'm not prepared to go through that, but maybe as a follow-up, if someone sends me a message, send a message to the chat as a follow-up, I'll look into that. Yes. Okay, Oseh Shalom. Do they write in Kol Avatenu? Can you check if the Kol Avatenu it says anything? Because this one also there's different versions. Here, the Talmud doesn't speak about it, except all the Talmud says is that you should, it's a Gemara Masechet Yoma, I believe, is that you should go to the left first. Okay? So let me show you. Does it say, check if it says anything in Kol Avatenu Sidur?
Yeah.
It does. What does it say?
Right.
No, bow left, bow left. The first instruction on top of the
Oh,
text
it's
is bow left.
Yeah, okay, there you go. Yeah. So that's the Gemara. The Gemara Masechet Yoma explicitly says the Talmud says that you have to bow to the left first. So there's different ways, but again, here what you're supposed to do, if I'm not mistaken, is that you should be bowing for the entire thing. So you say Oseh Shalom. There's different versions. I remember there's different versions. One is the Oseh Shalom Ramav to the left. If you're looking at me on Zoom, I don't know what you see, but I'm bowing to my left. Then you say Oseh Shalom Ramav. You stand up, Hu V'rachamav, Ya'aseh Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Amo Yisrael, Ve'imru Amen. It's almost like a triple, where in the middle you stand and you say a few words. So Oseh Shalom Ramav, Hu V'rachamav, Ya'aseh Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Amo Yisrael, Ve'imru Amen. Then I see some that they say no, you don't come up from that position. So you say Oseh Shalom Ramav, Hu V'rachamav, Ya'aseh Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Amo Yisrael, Ve'imru Amen. That's another way of doing it. Which one? I don't think this one as much. I don't remember seeing as much discussion about this one, and I don't think I saw it on the Talmud. I think what the Gemara says is that you should go to the left first. So that we have to do. You go to the left and go to the right. This is how I do it. Again, I'm sure this is something we say what they do in Kol Avatenu one more time.
Because the king sits on the throne and you're going to his right hand first.
Exactly.
Now
Go
to the left.
to the left. Oseh Shalom Ramav.
Right.
So he doesn't say you should stand up in the middle. He just says go straight. Hu V'rachamav Ya'aseh Shalom Aleinu.
Forward.
Ve'al Kol Amo Yisrael. Ve'imru Amen. Okay, so this is the one where you're not saying anything at center. You're saying Oseh Shalom Ramav, Hu V'rachamav Ya'aseh Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Amo Yisrael, Ve'imru Amen. Okay, this is the one that how they have it. Okay, very good. So ready? I'm about to burst a couple bubbles. I'm sorry if I do. So the Gemara Masechet Yoma tells us that for Oseh Shalom Ramav, you should bow to the left first. Why? Because you should view it as though you are leaving from in front of the king. The king, you're praying, you're saying Amidah in front of the throne of Ribono Shel Olam. Ribono Shel Olam is sitting on his throne, and you're leaving him. And to create that imagery, you bow to his right first. So you bow to the left because you're facing Hashem, and it's Hashem's right. And the right side is stronger, but to help you with this imagery, to know that Hashem is there, you bow to your left first. Now, according to the Kol Avatenu, is Oseh Shalom Ramav, Hu V'rachamav Ya'aseh Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Amo Yisrael, Ve'imru Amen. Fine? But what about during Magdishach when we say Zeh al Zeh Ve'amar? So, for some reason, many believe that you have to do the opposite. It's not written in Shulchan, it's not written in the Gemara, it's not written in Shulchan Aruch, it's written in a lot of Siduris. But I have yet to see a source for the Sidur except for another Sidur. If you ask the source of a Sidur, where do you see that? The answer is in another Sidur. Where did that Sidur get? It was another Sidur. I don't know. I'm sure there's a source for it. So I have seen this, and I know it's in the Kol Avatenu Sidur, that you have to do right first. But this has to be one of the biggest non-issues that for some reason becomes an issue. How people care about it so much. Okay, so you want to do what's in this. Yeah.
What does Rabban Chaim do?
Ask him. He probably doesn't even know what it means. Because it's not, I know what he's going to say. The Talmud says, for Oseh Shalom, you go to the left. For the things before we asked him, doesn't matter. It's not written in the Gemara. It's not written in Shulchan Aruch. You don't even have to do it. You could say Nakishak without going left and right. It sounds like there's some like symmetry and maybe it's nice. They also do this in the Kaddish. You don't have to do that either. I'm sorry, it's like bursting a bunch of bubbles. Like a lot of people are like, what are you talking about? This rabbi doesn't know how to pray. He's the apikoros. Okay, so no, but these are things that you have to know the level of the source. What does it say in the Siddur? What do people do for Vikara Zeh El Zeh V'Amar? That's how they do it. Okay, so I do that also, but the only reason I do that is because it's in the Siddur. That's my source. My source has become the Siddur. I have yet to see an actual like it. It's not in the Gemara. It's not in the Gemara the way it is by Oseh Shalom. Okay, so I think we did this. I think we did enough exercise for tonight. I burned a lot of calories. I usually don't burn this many calories, but I think one thing I just want to clarify is that Oseh Shalom, there are different ways of saying it. I gave you two different versions. This is the way it's in the Kol Avatenu. This is the way we'll follow. Means you're bowing for the entire thing. Oseh Shalom. Okay, so at the beginning of the bracha, it's Baruch Atah Amonai, and then Baruch Atah Amonai. Then it's Modim Anachnu Lach Shatahu Hashem Elokeinu, and then Baruch Atah Hashem Atov Shemcha V'Chanai Le'odah. And then Oseh Shalom Ramav, U'Brachamav, Yaseh Shalom Leinu, V'Akmai Yisrael. Okay, we got it? Good? Those are the 5 times you're doing the bowing. Okay? Good stuff. No, I did yoga, yeah. Yeah, that's okay, very good. So you're saying, isn't that taking it too slow? So the answer is that's exactly the point of the Gemara, where it says Rav Sheshet, when he would go down like a rod, where Shulchan Aruch says means fast, and we would come up slow. As if to say, when you're bowing in front of Hashem, you don't just like let go of it quickly, you're bowing in front of Him, so you're leaving that stance or that posture slowly to show that you're leaving Hashem, that respect position in a slow way, but Adonai Zokef Kefufim. When it comes to the time of standing, we stand up straight. And there's some commentators that explain it's because we know that Ribono Shel Olam will help us. Eventually, we humble ourselves, but we know that when we say the name of Hashem, we have our full trust in Hashem that we will be standing up straight. Adonai Zokef Kefufim. Hashem makes us stand up straight. Okay, good? Good. Yes, question.
What about
Okay, unrelated. Okay, good question. I'll leave it like this. No, okay, so I'll tell you why. So your question is, what about the Lecha Dodi? The answer is the Lecha Dodi was written about 500 years ago, and here we're talking about the Amidah that's written 2,000 years ago. So the requirements to bow of Lecha Dodi is so recent, historically speaking. There's no strict requirements of how to do it. Now, there are a lot of questions about what, in terms of bowing, you're talking about the Boy V'Shalom at the end? Yeah. It's not going to be, you're not going to find it in the Gemara. You're not going to find it in the Gemara because it was written over 1,000 years after the Gemara. So I don't know. I don't have an answer for you right now, but I would look at the Sidurim and see what they write, whatever they say. There are different versions also. Okay, I'll tell you this. I think I've even said this before. There's different versions of for Boy V'Shalom. Should you be facing the back of the room, or should you be facing the back of the room the entire time, or do you not face the back of the room at all? There's different versions of how many stanzas you should say. So we say Lecha Dodi Likrat Shabbat. Shamor v'Zachor b'Dibur Echad. Likrat Shabbat lechu min Lecha. Mikdash Melech Imanucha. Hitna Arim Afakum. Hitorari. Lo tevoshi v'lo tikami v'hayutim shosayich yamin yusmol tiprotzi Boy V'Shalom ater Allah. So we say all of these. Some of them cut half of them. The Syrians, it's like you start Lecha Dodi Boy V'Shalom. What should happen? They're like they say the first 4. They say Shlomo and they don't say Halevi. They don't say Lecha Dodi in between. Our Lecha Dodi is a good 7 minutes longer than theirs. I said Shlomo. Do you know what I meant? Sorry?
Shlomo Halevi.
Yeah, Shlomo Halevi. Who is Shlomo Halevi? Confirm your speaking language. Oh.
Every week is a new surprise.
Oh. Wow. What is it going to do with it, though? Okay, I'm not. Okay, so Zuma, in the middle of my thing, Zuma is saying, what language are you speaking? Okay, so yeah, so in the Lecha Dodi, you'll see that there is the stanzas start with Shlomo Halevi. So I believe the Syrians, they only do Shlomo. They don't do Halevi. And also, we in our Batei Kenesiot, between every line, we repeat Lechadodi. They don't. So it's like Shamor v'Zachor v'Dibur Echad. It's very fast. The Lechadodi is very fast altogether. And yeah, Kevin, you're asking good questions of bowing. The reason why I think it's unrelated is because there's no strict requirement. There's so many different customs of even how you even say it. Okay. All right. Let's.
So was he the author or no, Shlomo Alevi?
Yeah. Shlomo Alkebetz Halevi. Although I met his great grandchild, his great grandson, he was my rabbi in school, and he wasn't a Levi. So I said, wait a minute. You're his grandson. He's Shlomo Halevi. You're not Levi. And he said, yeah, they gave it to him as a title of respect. So either like he wasn't really a Levi and that was a title, or this is just a legend that my you had Rabbi Alkebetz. Remember him? I asked him this question. I said, "Is it Shlomo Halevi? But you're not a Levi." And he said, "It's because it was more of a title. They gave it a title of respect." He knew the question because he's saying it's my great grandfather. He said it was a title they gave him Halevi out of respect, but he actually wasn't a Levi. I don't know. Okay, let's keep going. All right, ready for the next unrelated topic, written by the same rabbi. V'amar Rabbi Chanina. How do I get rid of this? Here we go. V'amar Rabba bar Chinina Saba Mishmei de Rav. Another statement by Rabba, the son of Chinina, the elder, in the name of Rav. Kol hashana kula. The entire year when you pray the Amidah, Adam mitpalel ha'el hakadosh. The bracha is Baruch HaShem ha'el hakadosh, and Melech ohev tzedakah u'mishpat, the king who loves justice and judgment. Except for the 10 days between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, which is known as Aseret Yemei Teshuva, that you change the blessing to HaMelech HaKadosh and the HaMelech HaMishpat. The Berachot change. Why is this brought up here? Again, we were speaking about how we don't change the wording of Berachot, but here, during those 10 days, we change it. Why? The Gemara is going to say, or the Gemara is not telling us why. The answer is because during that time, during those 10 days, we need to invoke this imagery of Ribono Shel Olam sitting on his throne of judgment, being the king. And so instead of saying Ha'el HaKadosh, the God of the holy God, you say HaMelech HaKadosh. Because during that time, we have to remember HaMelech Basadeh, Ribono Shel Olam is the king and he's judging us. Okay? And what the king says, if the king says, we're destined to death, then we're destined to death. That's the word of the king. And then when you say Melech Ohev Tzedakah Mishpat, how is that different from HaMelech HaMishpat? Because when you say Melech Ohev Tzedakah Mishpat, it means the God who loves righteousness and judgment. That could mean that he loves it when we, human beings, do righteousness, do tzedakah, and do judgment when we are just with each other. But that doesn't mean that he is doing any judgment. Right? Melech Ohev Tzedakah Mishpat, he loves it when we do judgment. He loves it when we do it. But when you say HaMelech HaMishpat, means he is the God of justice. He's sitting in court. So that's why these two things are changing. Ha'el HaKadosh to HaMelech HaKadosh is changing him to him being the king, the one who's judging us. And then when you say HaMelech Ohev Tzedakah Mishpat, it means he loves justice and loves justice. That means when we do justice, he loves it. But during this time, we say HaMelech HaMishpat, he is the God of justice, meaning he is judging us. Okay? So this is what Rav tells us. Rabbi Bar Chinina Saba, in the name of Rav, says you have to change these two. Now you have on the opposite end, Rabbi Elazar afilu amar ha'el hakadosh yatsa. Rabbi Elazar, seemingly talking about the first one, says even if you say ha'el hakadosh, let's say you made a mistake, and you say ha'el hakadosh, it's not such a big deal. It's okay if you don't say HaMelech HaKadosh. And you say HaMelech HaKadosh, it's fine. Shneimar, why? Because there's a pasuk in Yeshaya that says, Vayikba Adonai Tsevaot b'mishpat. God is exalted through doing justice. V'ha'el HaKadosh nikdash bistaka. And the God, the holy God, and it uses the word El, is sanctified through righteousness. When is it that God is exalted through judgment? When is their judgment? Elu asara yamim shemin Rosh Hashanah v'ad Yom Kippurim. That's during the 10 days between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. That's when God is doing the judgment. So if that's when God is doing the judgment, and the pasuk says, this pasuk says, "Vayikba Adonai Sevaot b'mishpat," He is exalted through judgment. V'ha'el hakadosh nikdash b'staka, and He is the holy God, and it uses the word El. It doesn't use Melech. Kamar El hakadosh. So this pasuk is talking about the 10 days between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, and it refers to God as Ha'el HaKadosh. So if in your blessing you say Ha'el HaKadosh, no big deal. By the way, this pasuk, does anyone recognize this pasuk? If you're fluent with the tefilot of Rosh Hashanah, this is actually a pasuk that we say in the Berachot of HaMelech HaKadosh. This pasuk of Vayikba Adonai Sevot V'Mishpat V'Ha'el HaKadosh Nigdash B'Tzaka Baruch HaShem HaMelech HaKadosh. It's actually the in that blessing of HaMelech HaKadosh. So Rabbi Elazar is telling us, if you say Ha'el HaKadosh during those 10 days, it's fine, because I have a pasuk in Yeshaya that says Hashem is exalted through justice, and He is Ha'el HaKadosh. So there you go. During the time of judgment, which is the 10 days, you could still refer to Him as Ha'el HaKadosh. That's the opinion of Rabbi Elazar. Rav says you need to say HaMelech HaKadosh. Rabbi Elazar says if you say Ha'el HaKadosh, meaning I agree with you, but if you say Ha'el HaKadosh, it's okay.
I feel that Rob didn't agree with that also.
Because of the next line. The Gemara says, "My Havilah." So the Gemara says, "So what's the conclusion? What's the conclusion of this discussion? Do they agree? Is the law like both of them? Is the law like one of them?" So here we go. Amar Rav Yosef. Rav Yosef says, "Ha'el HaKadosh u melech ohev tzedakah mishpat." Rav says regular. Sorry, Rav Yosef. Excuse me. Rav Yosef says regular. During that week, you continue, and you can't continue doing the regular tefillah and say Ha'el HaKadosh, and you can say Melech Tzedakah Mishpat. Rabbah Amar HaMelech HaKadosh veHaMelech HaMishpat. Rabbah says no, you must say HaMelech HaKadosh and HaMelech HaMishpat. V'hilcheta keRabbah. The law is like Rabbah. When the Gemara uses the word v'hilcheta, it's a very, very, very powerful word. Why is it such a powerful word when it uses the word v'hilcheta in the Gemara? Because the Gemara is concluding for you what the halacha is. Do you remember the last Gemara that we learned, where we wanted to know what's the halacha if you had in mind the wrong bracha when you say the name of Hashem, but then you corrected yourself for the end of it? Which one should we do? What did we do to try to get an answer? Tashema, very good. That was my review from last week. We said, Tashema, come, let me bring a proof from a Braita. The first one failed. So what did we do after that? We did another Tashema Misefa, and that one also failed. Then what happened? Nothing. We don't know how the Gemara concluded. We had a doubt. We're not sure what to do. The Gemara didn't give a conclusion. So what do? Machloket Rishonim, and then we saw in Shulchan Aruch it was a Machloket himself. There's two different opinions. All of the Rishonim say different answers. We don't have a clear answer. Comes our Gemara and says, let me put this to rest. Halacha keRabbah. The halacha is not like Rav Yosef, who said you could continue doing the regular brachot of Ha'el HaKadosh Melech Tzedakah Mishpat. Rather, the halacha is like Rabbah. There is one problem, even though it says halacha keRabbah, still the Rama the Ashkenazi Rabbi in Shulchan Aruch says, okay, but for HaMelech HaMishpat, it's okay. Because when you say Melech Ohev Tzedakah Mishpat, at least you're saying the word Melech. Right? So if you say HaMelech HaKadosh, if you don't say HaMelech HaKadosh, and you say Ha'el HaKadosh, everyone agrees, Shulchan Aruch, Rama agree, you have to go back, not like Rabbi Elazar. Why? Because the Gemara says, Hilcheta keRabbah. But when Rabbah says you should say HaMelech HaMishpat, Ashkenazim say, okay, not really. It says Melech Ohev Tzedakah Mishpat, since you're saying the word Melech Ohev Tzedakah Mishpat, it's fine. But Shulchan Aruch says, no. If you miss HaMelech HaMishpat, you have to go back to the Bracha of Hashiva Shoftim K'vayishana. You have to go back to the beginning of that blessing. And if you finish the Amidah, you have to go back to the beginning of the tefillah. Just in case anyone wants, let me just, since I have it up, because I was looking for this in the Halacha Yomit, he says the same thing. If you want, maybe I'll send this link throughout. I'm going to send you this link. Basically, he says, nevertheless, regarding HaMelech HaMishpat, if one concludes the blessing by saying Melech Tzedakah Mishpat and did not correct himself immediately, one need not return to the beginning of Amidah. One need only return to the beginning of the Hashiva blessing. However, only if one realizes that he had mistakenly said HaMelech Ohev Tzedakah Mishpat after he concluded the entire Amidah prayer, one would be required to return to the beginning of the Amidah, and then he has to go back and say the Amidah again. The Ashkenazi custom is that one who errs with HaMelech HaMishpat blessing does not return at all, whether he realizes a mistake in the middle of the Amidah, and then etc. etc. So this is a difference between Sephardim and Ashkenazim. Another difference we're bringing up tonight, the same idea, but the halacha is you have to say HaMelech HaMishpat and HaMelech HaKadosh, HaMelech HaMishpat. If you miss either of them, according to Sfaradim, you have to go back. If you miss HaMelech HaKadosh, you have to go back to the beginning. If you miss HaMelech HaMishpat, you have to go back to the beginning of that blessing of Hashiva Shoftenu. And if you finish, then you have to go back and say the Amidah again. Okay, these are halachot that right now our minds are not in because we're not in the Aseret Yemei Teshuva. But whenever this topic comes up, the source is Gemara Berachot Daf Yud Bet. This is it. Tosfot asks the question. He says, "What else do we add during that time? You guys know? Zocheinu l'chaim. What else? Micha mocha avrachaman. What'd you say? Oseh Shalom. Very good. Sefer chaim beracham shalom. Right. So Tosfot, you see Tosfot, what he says is, hey, it says if you miss HaMelech HaMishpat, you go back. If it says if you miss HaMelech HaKadosh, you go back. So if you miss any of them, you have to go back. If you miss Zocheinu, you have to go back. If you miss Micha Mocha, you have to go back. If you miss any of them, you have to go back. And then others say, no, what are you talking about? You only have to go back for the ones the Gemara says you have to go back. For anything else that was added that's not sourced in the Gemara, you don't have to go back. In fact, I remember sitting in Shir with Rabbi Ben Chaim, and he was saying, the question is, can you even say it to begin with? You're adding extra words in the Amidah that's not in the Talmud. It's not in the Gemara. Nowhere in the Talmud does it say you should say Zocheinu l'chaim elecha v'zocheim. It doesn't say it. So really, it's a flip question. Should you even be allowed to say it? Now we say it. But if I miss it, should I go back? Of course not. Right? That's the halacha. If you miss any of those things, you don't need to go back. The only things you need to go back for is HaMelech HaKadosh and HaMelech HaMishpat. You have to go back as we spoke about. Okay? And according to Ashkenazim, only HaMelech HaKadosh. Let's see. Let me just take a look to see if we can do a little bit more. You know what? Just because of the flow of the next Gemarot, I'm going to stop here. And just let's do a quick recap. There are three discussions that we had today. What are the three discussions? Discussion number one, bowing was number two. Discussion number one, very good. There are certain berachot that we must say, which goes without saying, but it seems like some said that that it's okay if you don't. What are the names of the berachot that you have to say? Emet Veyatziv, Emet Veyamuna. Emet Veyatziv is post Shema in the morning. Emet Veyamuna is post Shema in the evening. The opinion that said this is Rabbah Bar Chinana Sabah Mishmei Derav. Okay? Then that was statement number one. What was statement number two by him? No, that's not what he says. Close, but that's not what he says. Right? Andrew said he's telling us how to bow, like a rod or like a snake. That wasn't it. Very good. Is that what you want to say? It says Kshu Korea Korea Baruch. When you bow, you're bowing at the name of the word Baruch. And when you rise before the name of Hashem. And we said, really, shouldn't you be bowing for Hashem? No, you should be bowing up until Hashem, and then you rise for Hashem. And then we had a story with Rav Sheshet. Rav Sheshet, when he would bow like a rod. When he would go down, and when he would come up like a snake. And that's where we did this whole discussion and this whole demonstration. I hope you all got something out of the bowing, the order. Remember, we do first body, then head, and then going up is body, then head. And you follow this, and there's all different opinions. Your Ashkenazi brothers and sisters who bow with their knees, it's okay. They're not doing something wrong. But I'm just showing you the way the Arizal says. And what was the third statement by the rabbi? Rabbah Bar Chinana Sabah Mishmei Derav. What was the third statement? HaMelech HaKadosh, HaMelech HaMishpat. Very good. He said during the Aseret Yemei Teshuva, there is two blessings of the Amidah. We swap out the seal. Instead of saying HaMelech HaKadosh, we say HaMelech HaKadosh. Instead of saying HaMelech HaMishpat, we say HaMelech HaMishpat. We have all sorts of machlokot. Rabbi Elazar says, no, it's okay even if you say HaMelech HaKadosh. Rav Yosef says, it's fine if you say either one. Rabbah says, no, you have to say HaMelech HaKadosh and HaMelech HaMishpat. And V'hilcheta Rabbah, and the Halacha is like Rabbah. And indeed, there's a machloket Ashkenazim Sfaradim about HaMelech HaMishpat, but this is what we see. So we did a lot of good learning stuff, a lot of very practical things. We have to review it when the time comes. The Amidah, you guys pray Arvit yet? If you haven't prayed Arvit yet, you know how to bow. You know how to bow tonight. Again, Gabriel, what are you going to do? You're going to make a change or you're going to keep it? You can think about it. Yeah, you know. You're gonna keep it. Rama, what about you?
No, but I do incorporate everything.
You're gonna
that
bring
goes
everything
in.
in. That's what Rama said he does.
Bend my knees a little.
Okay, what about you, Rama?
Change is hard, my knees.
Okay, so Rama started by saying, since I'm not sure. What? Okay, all right, yeah, I know.
Change emotion.
Rama said, since I'm not sure, I do everything. And now I said, so we'll make you sure. And now we make you sure. You say, I'm still gonna do everything. All right, fine. Baruch HaShem. Okay, Azak Baruch. Have a great week, everyone. All right. Yeah. It's hard. It's your form. It's hard to change your form. Azak Baruch. Have a great week, everyone. Take care.
Like, bro.